The actual room in which the executions take place is small and antiseptically clean. A crisp, fresh sheet has been tucked around the gurney. There are two arms extending from the sides of the gurney that make it look discomfortingly like a cross. The restraining straps are neatly rolled. An intravenous stand is ready to carry the bottles and tubes from which and through which the lethal injection will flow. There is a phone for the final go-ahead from the Attorney General and the Governor. There is the executioner's one-way window and a two-way piece of glass through which the witnesses and the condemned can see one another. A microphone over the gurney will make the prisoner's last words audible to the witnesses. Mario Marquez had been brought to the death house. The chaplain was with him along with a couple of guards, there to listen to his needs, to fulfill his requests for a last meal. Mario Marquez ordered fried chicken, baked potato, and a cinnamon roll. There he could shower, listen to an old radio, have a cigarette, talk to his lawyer. Marquez was to be moved from his cell to the death chamber sometime after the stroke of midnight. He had been thinking about this moment for quite a long time.
To me, it's gonna be like going to sleep. You know, I know one thing, that it ain't gonna be painful for me. I ain't gonna feel nothing. You know, I already experienced that in a dream before. I had a dream a while back, you know, that I entered the chambers and that I was laid down in a gurney. Then they put those needles in, that I died. But I did not die in pain or nothing. I just died peaceful.
I went to bear witness to the execution of Mario Marquez. Later in the broadcast, I'll tell you what I saw. It's 5 minutes before midnight when the witnesses to Mario Marquez's execution are escorted into a holding room of an imposing building that is used now as a prison processing center. There are two kinds of witnesses, those who have seen an execution before and those who have not. Among our group, several of us are first-timers. Two of those, the brothers of the condemned man, are already inside. With them is his lawyer.
Mario had nobody for a long time, and he asked me to be there, and I told him I'd be there for him. I wasn't going to let him go through this alone.
As the witnesses are searched, more for hidden microphones than for weapons, one of the officers tells me, as we're being searched, the condemned, Mario Marquez, is having a needle inserted in his right forearm. Inside the actual execution chamber, he is strapped onto a gurney, straps across his chest and waist, thighs and shins, another strap around each ankle, both wrists strapped to boards that stick out on either side of the gurney. The family members and the lawyers have been kept apart from the reporters and other witnesses, but when word comes that Marquez has been secured on the gurney and that the intravenous tube has been attached to the needles in his arm, the witnesses are summoned to the death house. Marquez is lying on his back, a microphone suspended over him so that his final words can be heard in the observation room, where we stand. We're just a few feet away, separated by a sheet of glass. When he tilts his head to the right, Marquez can see his brother's arms draped around one another, and next to them, his lawyer. Inside the execution chamber, the warden stands near the head of the condemned. The prison chaplain stands by his feet. The executioners, there are 3 of them, who will release a mixture of 3 chemicals into the IV, are invisible behind a one-way mirror. Much has been made of the fact that Marquez is retarded with the mind of a 7-year-old, but his final words are clear and organized. He apologizes to the family of the victims. I hold nothing against anyone, he says, not even the prosecutors. I just want to come home to him. Thank you, Lord Jesus. With that, the signal is given to the executioners. Marquez released a short explosion of breath like an involuntary cough, and that was it. That was all there was to be seen. The brothers wept. The attorney, Robert McGlasson, looked crushed. Inside the chamber, there was no movement for several minutes. Then a doctor examined the body and at 12:21 a.m. pronounced Mario Marquez dead. Compared to the death that he inflicted on his victims, Mario Marquez died painlessly and apparently at peace with himself. And life in prison seems a far more devastating punishment than a relatively tranquil death. As we left the death house on the way back to our own lives, there was absolute silence. If I had been expecting a moment of revelation, it did not come.